Right, yeah, I think it's time to plug a few leaks. This is getting somewhat worse. You see it's actually finally finished lifting the paint off, and it looks like it's been drilled out and patched up by someone in the past. Yeah, so quite what I'm going to do with that I don't know. The paint's lifted off all around here, and there's another leak down here somewhere. So we need to get the thing patched up. Now, we're not done anything for a while because I'm currently shedless, waiting for concrete to put a base down to make something better. So we're going to be doing this outside, providing the weather stays nice. But yeah, we're not going to do anything fancy because there's already another repair on the tank there. It's been welded here, there's bits of filler all over the place, and yeah, it's not a pretty tank, and it's never going to be a pretty one. But fuel tight would be nice. So since I'm sort of below half a tank at the moment, I figured it'd be a good time to yeah, drain out what's left and see about soldering up some holes. See how far we get. This could go terribly wrong. I mean, we know it's going to explode at least once. Like I said, the thing's awful. You can see the state of the paint down here. I think this was a rather rough tank that someone's plugged a few leaks on, chucked a bit of filler in, and just rattle canned black. On the plus side, with it being crap paint, everywhere it leaks it lifts the paint off, so you can find out where the leaks are. Right, I'll see about getting this tank drained and off, and we'll go from there. Right, onward. Well, we've not got very far. Not even filled up one can with fuel out the tank, and it's already raining. We'll see how bad it gets. We'll carry on. Hopefully it's just a passing shower, or you know, just stays light. I can handle that. We'll just get a little bit wet. Well, I said this is sort of at the point of needs doing. The paint that's lifted started holding water and then making things go rusty. So yeah, we need to get it done. And yeah, well, you know, it's autumn, it's England, it's bound to rain really, won't it? I said hopefully it'll pass. If not, we'll just hide. We'll hide for an hour or two till it goes away and then come back. Okay, so I've identified all the leaks and sort of cleaned up around the areas. There's that one we know about, just coming out around that screw hole. Turns out one on the other side was doing the same. That one, it was only just starting, but it was yeah, the paint was bubbling up there. And then this welded seam here, just round the outer edge of it, sort of around this kind of area, that was leaking. Surprisingly, no leaks around that old repair. That is absolutely fine. You can probably hear it's raining like hell now. So yeah, we've identified where all the leaks are, sort of cleaned up around the areas. I've cleaned the inside of the tank out, made it nice and inert. So once this rain backs off again, bloody the weather, and I've remembered where I've put my solder in, my solder and my flux, because it was on a shelf that hovered around here somewhere, but of course that shelf isn't there anymore. We'll see about soldering. I've got some old lead solder somewhere, so we'll see about soldering them up, and yeah, we'll go from there. But I'm just going to cover a couple of bits up for now. There we go, get them tools and bits covered up, chuck some bits over the bike, and I'm going to go hide from this rain for a moment, maybe have another cup of tea. Right, where is that bloody solder? Okay. Now, that hasn't gone well. I haven't tried the other leak, just those two. I mean, the weather has been absolutely atrocious all day. It's only just stopped raining, so as a result my kitchen's now a mess and stinks, because that's where I've been doing this. Yeah, can't make the solder flow. Just wants to bead off. I know it all looks a bit mucky now, but I've been trying various things. Yeah, I've cleaned it, I've scrubbed it, I've used acid cleaners, I've used a couple of different fluxes, I've used a couple of different solders, I've tried a range of different temperatures, and I can't seem to make solder stick to this fuel tank. So, quite what I'm going to do now, I'm not entirely sure. Might have to go away and have a think about it. God, it's covered in flux and all sorts. Right, what I am going to do is take this inside again and try and keep it nice and warm and away from any damp. Ooh. To make sure it doesn't go all rusty inside. So yeah, I don't know. I'll think of something. Weather's a bit nice around here today, so even though we failed to seal up the holes on the fuel tank the other day, I figured I'd bring it outside and I'd just get the rest of the paint off it. But let's face it, it's all got to come off anyway. Whether this paint remover is any good, it's whatever that happens to be, just whatever they had on the shelf at the local shop. So we'll give it a dose of that and see what happens. There we go. Well, in the time it's taken to boil the kettle and make a cup of tea, that seems to have lifted the paint. Okay, I think I'll give it another coat and then I'll start scraping it off. Okay, we've found some traces of old paint. We've got red at the bottom, green in the middle, sorry, yellow in the middle, and green at the top. There was another bit of green underneath somewhere. Just sort of makes sense because I think this age of Norton were either silver or green. But you know, it is a bit of a mongrel, so who knows. But it's getting there. We're on the right path. There's odd bits of filler here and there. We sort of knew this before we started. Rather rough bit of filler there. Like I said, we're not going for show winning here. We're going for Holds petrol, so I can keep riding my motorcycle because she's rather sorely sat there at the moment. She's having to live outside since we're currently shedless. And I can't seem to get anyone to turn up and do some concreting for me. Yeah. Meant to be here yesterday and no sign of them at all. But that's a different story. Anyway. Right, onward. Right, yeah, that's the worst of it off. There's still the odd bit here and there. Got a little bit of filling to do maybe. Well, I might fill it, I might not, I don't know. But yeah, sort of did alright, that stuff. Not the greatest in the world, but far from terrible. Yeah, there's still a little bit of paint to come off on the underside, but I'll worry about that in a bit. There is some pitting down here on the tank, it's same on the other edge. I've got to make my mind up now whether I'm going to get the existing leaks brazed up, because I haven't got oxyacetylene here, and nowhere to put it at the moment. So I don't know if I can find someone who'll just braze them over. But let's face it, I'm never going to put badges on the thing. Well, not on this tank anyway. This is just going to be, I think it's going to be the winter tank. I'll get a nicer tank for summertime. So yeah, do I braze up the existing leaks? There's, like I said, that one there, there was one round here, small one on the other side. And of course it's got ropey bits like where it's been welded around this side. Or do I just check the tank line a minute? I'm not a huge fan of tank liners. They, yeah, They do occasionally lift. They're not big. They don't like having ethanol in them. And since fuel around here's got a lot of ethanol in, yeah, don't know. So I'll have a think. Right, yeah, well, I've just popped round to a mate's house who has been kind enough to TIG bronze up the holes where the tank badges are meant to go, because, well, 2 of them were leaking. It wasn't going to be long till the other 2 were, I figured, so get all 4 brazed up, and he's tigged the edge of this seam where it was leaking on the tank. So, hopefully, we're nice and fuel tight again. I'm going to go chuck it in the bathtub and see if it has got any leaks anywhere. And yeah, then all the boring, sanding and filling in dents and a bit of painting. Okay, so it's all covered in filler now. Just waiting for the last of the damp patches to dry. It's actually a temp number 2, I think, at filling this in, because the first lot of filler I used was an older lot, and it yeah, when it dried it was full of air pockets and bits. So yeah, I'm going to let that dry, just make sure I've got everything. I'm sure there'll be a couple of bits I've missed and I've got to resand, and then we'll stick some high build primer on there, put some normal primer on, and then just yeah, turn it black again. Right, leave me with it. Okay, so that's the first coat of primer on there. That's a nice high build stuff. You can already see a couple of the little dengs that I've missed. I think round here somewhere. And already a little fly has decided to stick itself into it. So we'll let this go off, give it another coat, then we'll flat it all back and continue from there. Like I said, it was never going to be perfect, this thing, but we'll do as nice a job as I can in a, well, doing it outside and with rattle cans, but you know, we'll see. Right. Okay, so she's getting there, she's drying. There's a couple of bits down here that don't seem to want to dry for some reason, so well, we'll just leave it a little bit longer. And round here somewhere, don't know if it'll show, the paint, well, the primer seems to have sunk a little bit, but as I'm just a bit out of filler and I'm out of primer and bits, I'll not be doing that again. And of course, round here I ain't done a brilliant job with the filler. You know, it's a rough old thing, so it'll do for now. So I'll let this go off properly. I'll flat back a couple of little bits like round here and then throw some black at it. Okay, well, this isn't going too well. The tank's black. That's about as good as it gets. And there's a few bits I've missed when filling it, and a bit here where the filler's sunk. And my rather precarious outdoor setup isn't the greatest, and I'm a clumsy git. So I managed to knock the tank off, put a fresh dent in it, and ruin my already dubious paint. But like we said earlier, this is sort of winter tank. It is a rough one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure really. I don't have any materials left, or enough materials left to correct the cock up. So yeah, we'll just let the paint go dry and hard, and then sort of polish it back a bit so it's half presentable, and we'll get it back on the bike and back on the road. And I'm quite sure very soon that that'll be leaking fuel again, because there's some ropey bits on it. It's just getting rather thin in places and rather heavily pitted it is. So, you know, it lasts as long as it lasts. And, you know, although it's not the best paint, it's better than the paint that was peeling off it due to the fuel. So yeah, that has really annoyed me doing that. That is no one's fault except my own, using this rather precarious setup and being a clumsy twat. Well, you know, we'll see how well it dries. I've literally just sprayed it on. Yeah, I had just enough paint left to cover up the marks from dropping it, and that was my lot. I am really annoyed at myself for that. Luckily, when I do stupid shit like this, I only ever do it to my own stuff. That way you just have to put up with dents rather than spend thousands of pounds. But you know, as I said, we'll be on the search soon for a nice tank for the thing, and this can just be auxiliary tank. Right, I'll carry on drinking my cup of tea and smoke myself to death because I feel crap for doing that now. And yeah, you're still here. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da.